What is happening, everybody? Josh here from Spawn Fly Fish, and we're continuing this sort of theme of taking popular jigs and turning them into flies, and turning popular flies into jigs, and vice versa, and crossing all platforms here at Spawn Fly Fish. So today we are going to be tying a classic jig. If you're not familiar with this, put this in your repertoire, bring it to the fly world like I'm about to, and you won't be disappointed. So to start things off, we're going to create one of these polliwog tails with that back kick. So what we're gonna do here is show you how it's done, and then we will get to the rest of the fly. So we got our Spawn polliwog tail here. We have the HMH tube fly starter tool. This thing's great. If you've never used one, highly recommend it. And we're just gonna start laying down some thread wraps on the very end of this. Get yourself about 1/4 of an inch. Nothing crazy, but give yourself a little bit of space here. Trim off that tag end. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some crosscut rabbit, and we're just going to tie some on both sides of this. We're just plucking it off here. We're going to throw a little bit on top. Rotate the vise. You might not be able to see it too well, but we'll bring it back into focus here in a second. I'll bring it up now that I have that kind of set. I'll bring it. So that's how you do this, but the next step is equally as important. So we're going to add quite a bit of thread there. Good to go here. We're going to throw in a couple whip finishes. Now, as far as durability of these tails, the tails themselves are impenetrable. They are extremely durable. But when you add something or you're tying in something, there's always a risk of it coming undone. So to secure this, first we're going to eliminate all that excess rabbit. And it's important that you tie it on the bottom of this too, because you want to cover up that HMH tube fly starter tool. So don't just put it on top, also put it on the bottom. All right, we're pretty good here. A couple loose fibers. All right, so what I've been liking to do is slide this off and then take Zap-a-Gap, specifically Zap-a-Gap. It seems to funnel into the thread really well. So we're gonna get a good little bit of that there and on the bottom, and it really soaks through and creates a really nice little tail, as you can see there. So we're gonna let that dry. We already have one prepped, so we'll go on to that and start getting to this fly. So at this point, you can take the HMH tube fly starter tool out. We are going to be tying on an Ahrex saltwater jig hook, the one that we helped design, SA254, size number 6. So we're going to reposition our jaws here and lock that sucker into place. And time to get after it. All right, so we'll take start things off. We're going to lock this white bead, and the white bead is important. The color combination of this pattern is important. So we're going to lock that into place there. Good to go. Start some thread wraps. And then we're going to secure these thread wraps over the lead-free wire and securing that bead into place. That'll do it. And then we're going to work back just to where the bend of the hook is there. And we're going to snag that polliwog tail with the rabbit tied off the end of it. And we only, for this, we only need a bit of it. So we're going to take just a little less than half the tail, where it starts to truly taper down. This isn't a really long jig, fly, whatever you want to call it. It's not long. So we're keeping that pretty short. Tie it on there. We'll cut off that excess. We're tying this on the bottom, as you can see, and when we're really securing it down with thread wraps. Alrighty. Hope you guys are still with us. This is going to be where the magic comes together and what makes this pattern so successful. So, if you've seen us tie jigs before, a lot of them have chenille, a lot of them have Schlappen. You can substitute for raptor hackle, you can substitute for different hackles. We like Schlappen, cheap, great movement, good profile. So we're gonna throw in this chenille and the Schlappen. Some people like to do the Schlappen first, so if you want to do that, this is a point where you can tell me I don't know what I'm doing. But the fly flat out works, and you won't be able to argue that. Alrighty, so foundation set here. We're going to work our thread wraps up about a 1/4 inch behind that white bead. We'll turn this back over so that it's in true form. And this is a medium chenille. We're just going to start wrapping it forward, touching wraps. Really bring them together here, and that'll do it right there. Leave a little bit of room. There's still an element that really is going to seal the deal for this fly pattern here. And although this pattern is curated for specific fisheries of steelhead and salmon, you can use this on trout and it will get the job done. Alrighty, so we got our Schlappen now. We're going to take it, we're going to guide some of these fibers, get one wrap right where we started it, and then our next wrap is going to go into that chenille. And work your way in there. As we move forward, just follow those chenille wraps. I'm using the tip of the Schlappen on this one. It's not, the fibers aren't quite as long, which is what I want for this. So then when I'm tying a jig or a increased size fly of this pattern, then I can use that second half of this feather. Alright, we're just locking that into place here. Trying not to trap any of those fibers. And get rid of that. Sweet. Alrighty, that is looking just the way we want it to look. Alrighty, we're going to clean this up just a little bit. Give us a nice little platform here. For those of you that are very familiar with your jigs, this is going to all come together here. We're welcoming the nightmare jig to the fly fishing world here, guys. So create your own nightmares and bring this thing to life. So we have the row yarn in fluorescent red. This red, white, and black combo is the combo that you are going to like. It is a very, very prominent combo here in the Pacific Northwest for a good reason. So we're going to continue to wrap that. We want this as close to the bead as possible. Again, working through these fibers here. We don't want to trap them. Follow that bead down. Use it as a guide to guide your thread. Pull that, and now in front. Yahtzee. And that is it. This is an easy to tie fly, formerly known as the Nightmare jig. Welcome to the fly world. We're going to give a little bit of a thread color here, just that black, so everything kind of contrasts and you see those different colors. This is extremely popular, and you will see why later in the season. We will showcase this. We have had a tendency to take conventional gear tactics and bring them to the fly world, and this is no different. This is going to get it done. We highly recommend that you bring this to life. Last thing we're going to do here is just throw in a little bit of Loon thin. Just kind of save that durability. These salmon steelhead get some little teeth on them, so as they move in here, so we're going to really keep that thing, this longevity intact. Put that away, and that's it. We're going to hit this with the UV light. This tail's going to kick. This thing's going to move, dead drift this, strip this, put it under an indicator. It is going to get the job done. There's a lot to learn in this and a lot to learn in what has been successful on conventional tackle, and we are showcasing that and bringing it to the fly world. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hit like, hit subscribe, and tie some of these up today.